Act 1 of The Heir at Law by George Colman the Younger. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Characters:
Daniel Dowless, alias Baron Doubly, read by Son of the Exiles.
Dick Dowless, read by John Payton.
Dr. Pineglass, read by Todd.
Henry Moreland, read by Greg Giordano.
Steadfast, read by Larry Wilson.
Ezekiel Homespun, read by Alan Mapstone.
Kenrick, read by Adrian Stevens.
John, read by Jim Hedrick.
Waiter at the Blue Boar, read by Lynette Calkins.
Waiter at the Hotel, read by David Purdy.
Deborah Dowless, a.k.a. Lady Jubilee, read by Matea Bracic.
Caroline Dormer, read by Linda Webster.
Cicely Homespun, read by Annie Mars.
Stage directions, read by Michael Maggs. Scene: London. The Heir at Law. Act 1. Scene 1. An apartment in Lord Doubly's house. A table and 2 chairs, centre. Lord Doubly left and Lady Doubly right discovered seated at breakfast.
But what does it matter, my lady, whether I drink my tea out of a cup or a saucer?
A great deal in the polite circles, my lord. We have been raised by a strange freak of fortune from nothing, as a body may say, and—
Nothing? As reputable a trade as any in all Gosport? You hold a merchant as cheap as if he trotted about with all his property in a pack, like a pedlar.
A merchant indeed. Curious merchandise you dealt in, truly.
A large assortment of articles, coals, cloth, herrings, linen, candles, eggs, sugar, treacle, tea, bacon and brick dust, with many more too tedious to mention in this here advertisement.
Well, praise the bridge that carried you safe over, but you must now drop the tradesman and learn life. Consider, by the strangest accident you have been raised to neither more nor less than a peer of the realm.
Oh, 'twas the strangest accident, my lady, that ever happened on the face of the universal youth.
True, 'twas indeed a windfall, and you must now walk, talk, eat, and drink, as becomes your station. 'Tis befitting a nobleman should behave as sich, and know summat of breeding.
Well, but I ain't been a nobleman more nor a week, and my throat isn't noble enough yet to be proof against scalding. Hand over the milk, my lady.
Hand over? Ah, what's bred in the bone will never come out of the flesh, my lord.
Pshaw! Here's a fuss indeed. When I was plain Daniel Dowless of Gosport, I was reckoned as cute a dab at discourse as any in our town. Nobody found fault with me then.
But why so loud? I declare the servants will hear.
Hear? And what will they hear but what they know? Our story is secret, Lord help you. Tell 'em Queen Anne's dead, my lady. Don't everybody know that old Lord Doubly was supposed to die without any heir to his estate, as the doctors say, of an implication of disorders, and that his son, Henry Moreland, was lost some time ago in the salt sea?
Well, there's no occasion to—
Don't everybody know that Lawyer Ferret of Furnival's Inn owned the legatees a grudge and popped a bit of an advertisement into the news, whereas the Heir at law, if there be any revivin' of the late Baron Doubly, will apply so and so, he'll hear of summat greatly to his advantage.
But why bawl it to the...
Didn't he hunt me out to prove my title and lug me from the counter to clap me into a coach, a house here in Hanover Square, and an estate in the country worth 15,000 per annum? Why, bless you, my lady, every little black devil with a soot bag cries it about the streets as often as he says sweep.
'Tis a pity but my lord had left you some manners with his money.
He? What, my cousin 20,000 times removed? He must have left them by word of mouth. Never spoke to him but once in all me born life, upon an electioneering matter. That's the time when most of your proud folks make no bones of tipplin' with a tallow chandler in his back room on a meltin' day. But he, except callin' me cousin and buyin' a lot of damaged huckaback to cut into kitchen towels, he was as cold and stiff as he is now, though he's been dead and buried these 9 months, rot him.
There again now, rot him.
Why, blood and thunder, what is a man to say when he wants to consecrate his old stiff-rumped relations?
Rings the handbell.
Why, an oath now and then may slip in to garnish genteel conversation, but then it should be done with an air to one's equals, and with a kind of careless condescension to menials.
Should it? Well then...
Calling off.
Here, John!
Enter John, left.
My good man, take away the tea and be damned to you.
Yes, my lord.
Exit with the breakfast things, left. Lady Doubly, rising.
And now, my lord, I must leave you for the concerns of the day. We elegant people are as full of business as an egg's full of meat.
Doubly, coming forward.
Yes, we elegant people find the trade of the tone, as they call it, plaguey fatiguin'. What, are you for the whiz this mornin'? Much good may it do you, my lady. Damn me, it makes me sit stuck up and squeezed like a bear in a bathin' tub.
I have 100 places to call at. Folks are so civil since we came to take possession. There's dear Lady Littlefigure, Lord Sponge, Mrs. Holdbank, Lady Betty Pillory, the Honourable Mrs. Cheatwell, and...
Aye, you may always find plenty in this here town to be civil to 15,000 a year, my lady.
Well, there's no learning you life. I'm sure they are as kind and friendly. The supper Lady Betty gave to us and 100 friends must have cost her 50 good pounds if it cost her a brass farden. And she does the same thing, I'm told, 3 times a week. If she isn't monstrous rich, I wonder, for my part, how she can afford it.
Why, ye cod, my lady, that would have puzzled me too, if they hadn't hooked me into a cursed game of cockin' and puntin', I think they call it, where I lost as much in half an hour as would keep her and her company in fricassees and whip syllabubs for a fortnight. But I may be even with her some of these afternoons. Only let me catch her at put, that's all.
Re-enter John, left.
Dr. Pangloss is below, my lord.
Odds bods! My lady, that's the man as learns me to talk English.
Hush!
Pointing to John.
Consider.
I forgot.
To John.
Gas me, my honest fellow. Show him upstairs, do you hear?
Exit John, left.
There, was that easy?
Tolerable.
Well, now get along, my lady. The doctor and I must be snug.
Then I bid you a good morning, my lord. As Lady Betty says, I wish you a bon repos.
Exit right.
A bone repose? I don't know how it is, but the women are more cuter at these here matters nor the men. My wife, as everybody may see, is as genteel already as if she'd been born a duchess. This Dr. Pangloss'll do me a deal of good in the way of fashioning my discourse. So, here he is.
Enter Dr. Pangloss, left.
Doctor, good morning. I wish you a bone repose. Take a chair, Doctor.
Pardon me, my lord. I am not inclined to be sedentary. I wish, with permission, rectus adsidera tolerevoltus. Ovid.
Tolerary vultures? I suppose that means you'd rather stand?
Fie! This is a locomotive morning with me. Just hurried, my lord, from the Society of Arts, whence, I may say, I have borne my blushing honours thick upon me. Shakespeare.
And what has put your honours to the blush this morning, Doctor?
To the blush? A ludicrous perversion of the author's meaning.
Laughing.
You shall hear, my lord. Lend me your ears. Shakespeare again. 'Tis not unknown to your lordship, and the no less literary world, that the Caledonian University of Aberdeen long since conferred upon me the dignity of LL.D., and as I never beheld that erudite body, I may safely say they dubbed me with the degree from sheer consideration of my celebrity.
True.
For nothing, my lord, but my own innate modesty could suppose the Scotch College to be swayed by £1 15 shillings and threepence 3 farthings, paid on receiving my diploma, as a handsome compliment to the numerous and learned heads of that seminary.
Oh, hang it, no, it wasn't for the matter of money.
I do not think it was altogether the ore sacrum fames, Virgil. But this very day, my lord, at 11 o'clock a.m., the Society of Arts, in consequence, as they were pleased to say, of my merit,
Laughing.
my merits, my lord, have admitted me an unworthy member, and I have henceforth the privilege of adding to my name the honourable title of A.S.S.
And I make no doubt, Doctor, but you have richly deserved it. I warrant a man doesn't get A.S.S. tacked to his name for nothing.
Decidedly not, my lord. Yes, I am now Artium Societies Socius. My last 2 publications did that business. Exegi monumentum are perennis. Horace.
And what might them there 2 books be about, Doctor?
The first, my lord, was a plan to lull the restless to sleep by an infusion of opium into their ears. The efficacy of this method originally struck me in St. Stephen's Chapel, while listening to the oratory of a worthy county gentleman.
I wonder it weren't hit upon before by the doctors.
Physicians, my lord, put their patients to sleep in another manner.
Laughing.
To die, to sleep no more, Shakespeare. My second treatise was a proposal for erecting dove-houses on a principle tending to increase the propagation of pigeons. This, I may affirm, has received considerable countenance from many who move in the circles of fashion. Nec gemere jacebit tutor. Virgil. I am about to publish a third edition by subscription. May I have the honour to pop your lordship down among the pigeons?
I? Down with me, doctor?
My lord, I am grateful. I ever insert names and titles at full length.
Taking out his pocket-book.
What may be your lordship's sponsorial and patronymic appellations?
My what?
I mean, my lord, the designations given to you by your lordship's godfathers and parents.
Oh, what, my Christian and surname? I was baptized, Daniel.
Abelums baptismate labum. I forget where. No matter.
Writing.
The Right Honourable Daniel
Dowless.
Dowless. Filthy Dow. Shakespeare.
Writing.
The Right Honourable Daniel Dowless, Baron Dubberly. And now, my lord, to your lesson for the day.
They sit.
Now for it, doctor.
The process which we are now upon is to eradicate that blemish in your lordship's language which the learned denominate cacology, and which the vulgar call slipslop.
I'm afraid, doctor, my cakelology will give you a tolerable tight job on it.
Nil desperandum, Horace. We'll begin in the old way, my lord. Talk on. When you stumble, I check. Where was your lordship yesterday evening?
At a consort.
Tete-a-tete with Lady Dubberly, I presume?
Tete-a-tete with 500 people hearing her music.
Oh, I conceive. Your lordship would say a concert. Mark the distinction. A concert, my lord, is an entertainment visited by fashionable lovers of harmony. Now a consort is a wife, little conducive to harmony in the present day, and seldom visited by a man of fashion, unless she happens to be his friends or his neighbours.
A devil of a difference indeed. Between you and I, doctor, now my lady's out of hearing, a wife is the devil.
Pangloss, laughing.
There are plenty of Jobs in the world, my lord.
And a precious sight of Jezebels too, doctor. But patience, as you say, for I never gives my lady no bad language whenever she gets in her tantrums and talks high. I always sits mum chance.
So spake our mother Eve, and Adam heard. Milton. Silence is most secure, my lord, in these cases, for if once your lordship opened your mouth, 'tis 20 to 1 but bad language would follow.
Oh, that's a sure thing, and I never like to disperse the women.
Asperse.
Umph, there's another stumble. After all, doctor, I shall make but a poor progress in my vermicular tongue.
Your knowledge of our native or vernacular language, my lord, time and industry may meliorate. Vermicular is an epithet seldom applied to tongues, but in the case of puppies who want to be wormed.
Hey, cod! Then I ain't so much out, Doctor. I've met plenty of puppies since I came to town whose tongues are so troublesome that wormin might chance to be of service. But, Doctor, I've a bit of a proposal to make to you concernin' of my own family.
Disclose, my lord.
Why, you must know I expect my son Dicky in town this here very mornin'. Now, Doctor, if you would but mend his cakeology, mayhap it might be better worthwhile than the mendin' of mine.
Pangloss, aside.
I smell a pupil.
Aloud.
Oh, whence, my lord, does the young gentleman come?
You shall hear all about it. You know, Doctor, though I am of a good family distraction.
X.
Though I am of a good family extraction, 'twas but t'other day I kept a shop at Gosport.
The rumour has reached me. Fama volet veresque.
Don't put me out.
Virgil. Proceed.
A tradesman, you know, must mind the main chance. So when Dick began to grow as big as a porpoise, I got an old friend of mine who lives in Derbyshire, close to the Devil's, close to the Peak, to take Dick Prentice at half price. He's just now out of his time, and I warrant him as wild and rough as a rock. Now, if you, Doctor, if you would but take him in hand and soften him a bit.
Pray, my lord, to soften rocks, Congreve. Pray, my lord, what profession may the Honourable Mr. Dowlas have followed?
Who? Dick? He has served his clerkship to an attorney at Castleton.
An attorney? Gentlemen of his profession, my lord, are very difficult to soften.
Yes, but the pay may make it worthwhile. I'm told that my Lord Spindle gives his eldest son, Master Drumstick's tutorer, 300 a year, and besides learnin' his pupil, he has to read my lord to sleep of an afternoon and walk out with the lapdogs and children. Now, if 300 a year, Doctor, will do the business for Dick, I shan't begrudge it to you.
300 a year? Say no more, my lord. LLD, ASS, and 300 a year. I accept the office. Verbum sat. Horace. I'll run to my lodgings, settle with Mrs. Sudds, put my wardrobe into a... no, I've got it all on, and...
Going.
Hold, not so hasty, Doctor. I must first send you for Dick to the Blue Boar.
The Honourable Mr. Dowlas, my pupil, at the Blue Boar?
Aye, in Holborn. As I ain't fond o' tellin' people good news beforehand, for fear they may be balked, Dick knows nothin' o' my bein' made a lord.
300 a year? I've often wished that I had clear, for life, 300.
I wrote him just afore I left Gosport to tell him to meet me in London with...
£300 a year. Swift.
With all speed upon business. Do you mind me?
Dr. Pangloss, with an income of no lapdogs, my lord.
Nay, but listen, Doctor, and as I didn't know where old Ferret was to make me live in London, I told Dick to be at the Blue Boar this morning by the stagecoach. Why, you don't hear what I'm talking about, Doctor.
Oh, perfectly, my lord.
Aside.
300 blue boars in a stagecoach.
Well, step into my room, Doctor, and I'll give you a letter which you shall carry to the inn and bring Dick away with you. I'll warrant the boy will be ready to jump out of his skin.
Skin? Jump? Zoons! I'm ready to jump out of mine. I follow your lordship. Oh, Dr. Pangloss, where is your philosophy now? I attend you, my lord. Aequam momento, Horace. Servare mentum. Bless me, I'm all in a fluster. LLD, ASS, and 300. Oh, I attend your lordship.
Exeunt right. Scene 2. A room in the Blue Boar Inn, Holborn. Table and chairs. A bell rings left. Enter waiter left, showing Ezekiel Homespun, carrying a portmanteau, and Cicely Homespun.
This way, if you please, sir.
So, here we be at last in Lunham, at the... What be your sign, young man?
The Blue Boar, sir. One of the oldest houses in London.
Oldest? Why, as you do say, young man, it do seem in a tumble-downish kind of condition indeed.
Shall I put your portmanteau on the table, sir?
Offers to take it. Ezekiel jerking it from him.
No, but you don't, though. I ha' heard of the tricks o' Lunnon, though I ne'er set foot in it afore. Master Blue Boar, you ha' gotten the wrong sow by the ear, I can tell ya.
La, Brother Ezekiel, I dare say the young man is honest.
Haply may be, Cicely, but the honest chaps of this town, as I be told, do need a deal of looking after. Where can Dick Dowlas now be a loitering so long in the yard?
The gentleman that came in the coach with you, sir?
Yes, yes, the gentleman with always clothes in his hand, tied up in a little blue and white pocket handkerchief.
Shall I bid him come up, sir?
Aye, be so kind, will you?
I shall, sir.
Exit left.
I have nothing left but this portmanteau and you, Cicely. If I were to lose either of you, what would become of poor Ezekiel Homespun?
Dear now, this was the cry all along upon the road. Don't be so downhearted, brother. There be plenty of ways of getting bread in Lunan.
Oh, plenty, plenty. But many of the ways they do say be so foul, and the bread be so dirty, it would turn a nice stomach to eat on't.
Well, I do declare it seems a pure place with the power of rich gentlefolks for certain, for I saw number 945 upon one of their coach doors as we came along, and no doubt there will be more of them still. I do so like it, Ezekiel.
Don't ye now, don't ye, Cicely? Pray, don't ye be so merry. You scare me out of my senses. Think what a charge I have in you, Cicely. Father and mother dead, no kin to help us, both thrown atop of the wide world to seek our fortunes, and only I to take care of you. Indeed, indeed, I do love you, Cicely. You would break your poor brother's heart if any harm was to befall you. You wouldn't do that, would you, Cicely?
Ezekiel, I wouldn't hurt a hair of your head if I was to be made my Lord Mayor's lady for it. You have been a kind brother to me, Ezekiel, and if I have the luck to get a service first, I'd work my fingers to the bone to maintain you.
Bus me, Cicely. Odd rabbit it, girl. I'd be only chicken-hearted on your account.
Well, but let us hope for the best, Ezekiel. Poor father has followed mother to the cold grave, sure enough, and the squire, out of the spite he owed us, has turned us out of the Castleton farm. But
that were bad enough, though I could have stomached that. But he spoke ill of father's memory. I'd as big a mind to lick squire as ever I had in my life. And then, as you do say, to turn us adrift.
But we are young and strong, brother Ezekiel, and able to get our living.
Why, that be true enough, Cicely.
Well then, come now, pluck up a spirit. Be lightsome and jovial a bit, Ezekiel. Do now.
Well, I'll do my best. Dang it. If we had but a friend now.
Why don't we?
None that I do know of, batting Dick Dowless, who be come up with us in the Castleton coach.
Well, brother, I'm sure he'd go through fire and water to serve us. He has told me so, Ezekiel, 50 good times by the side of old Dobbin's pond by moonlight.
Aye, I do know he had kept you company, Cicely. I told him when father died that I was agreeable to his having of you, provided matters got a little more smoothish with you.
Did you? Ah, Ezekiel!
Dick be an honest fellow.
Cicely, eagerly.
There he is, indeed, brother.
I have known him now 7 good years since first he came to Castleton, and we have been for all the world like brothers. Dick be a little ranty Polish, but as generous a lad.
Dick Dowless, singing and talking without, left.
Oh, London is a fine town, a very famous city. Take care of my bundle, do you hear?
Enter Dick Dowless, singing, left.
Where all the streets paved with gold and all the maidens pretty.
Crossing to centre.
Well, shan't we have a bit of something to eat? Just a snack, Ezekiel, eh?
Calling off, left.
Here, you waiter.
Turning to Cicely.
What, sis, my girl?
Re-enter waiter with a bundle, left. To the waiter.
Come get some cold beef, you.
To Cicely.
How dost do after the journey?
To the waiter.
Aye, cold beef. Put down the bundle. Mustard, vinegar, and all that, you know. Sis likes a relish.
Directly, sir.
Places Dick's bundle on the table and exits right.
Aye, jump about, my tight fellow. Zounds! How the rumblings of the old coach keeps whirling in my head.
I do think, Dick, your head be always a little upon the whirligig order.
If I hadn't got out to take the reins in hand now and then, I should have been as muzzy as a Methodist parson. Didn't I knock the tits along nicely, sis?
Aye, indeed, Dick. Except bumping us up against the turnpike gates, we went as pure and pleasant.
Pshaw! That was an accident. Well, old Domine hasn't called for me here yet. Can't think what the old boy wants with me in London. Bad news, I'm afraid.
No, don't you say so, Dick.
At that will, Dick, I'll stand by you. I be as poor as Job, but I'll share with my friend in distress to the last guinea.
Tippus your daddle, Ezekiel. You've as tender a heart as ever got into the tough carcass of a Castleton farmer. Yes, the old boy's last letter but one told me that things were going on but badly. Confound that Chandler's shop. Bacon, eggs, coals, and candles have laid him low. A bankruptcy I want, and he has come up to town to whitewash.
And to consult with you, mayhap, as you be in the law, about the business.
Gad, then, it will be like consulting most people in the law. He'll get nothing from me that's satisfactory. Old Latitat had as little business as I had inclination in the practice.
Well, but Dick, sure you can do somewhat in your calling. You can draw up a will or a lease of a farm now.
I can shoot a wild duck with any lawyer's clerk in the country. I can fling a bar, play at cricket.
That you can. I used to notch for you, do you know?
I can make a bowl of punch.
That you can. I used to drink it with you, do you know?
I can make love.
Cicely, eagerly.
That you can, Dick.
I can catch gudgeons.
Aye, that be part of your trade. Catching a con's be a lawyer's cheapest employment, they do say.
Well, now, to business. Here's a newspaper I picked up at the bar. There's something in it I think will suit Sis.
Handing the paper to Ezekiel.
Read it.
Ezekiel, crossing to centre and reading.
Wanted a maid.
That's a difficult thing to be found in London, I take it.
So far 'twill do for our Cicely.
Yes, I'd better make haste and get the place, for fear anything should happen, you know.
Let's read it, Cicely. Wanted a maid servant by a young lady.
Dear, a young lady.
Who lives very retired at the west end of the town. Must be clean in her person. Cicely be very clean.
As any lass in Derbyshire.
And good-natured. Cicely be as good-natured a girl as ever... Well, let's see. And willing to do what is required.
Well, I am very willing, you know, Dick, ain't I?
That you are, Sis. Kiss me.
La, Dick, this will just do. I'm so pleased.
Ezekiel, reading.
If from the country, the better. Rabbit it, Cicely, this be the very thing. Told her hello. Or if any farmer, in difficulties from a numerous family, wishes to put his daughter to a service... Oh, my poor old father, this be the thing. She will meet the tenderest care from the lady who has herself known what it is to be unfortunate.
Capering about and singing.
Told you hello, bust me, Cicely, hug me, Dick Dowlas. I shall provide for sister, the care next to my very heart. Toady Rollo, rabbit it, I be ready to choke for joy.
Dear now, this is the rarest luck. Live with a young lady. I shall be so great and grand.
And grow giddy with good fortune and forget your poor friend, Sis.
No, Cicely be too good for that. Forget a poor friend? When such giddy folks do chance to get a tumble, they may e'en thank themselves if nobody be ready to help them up.
Now, I wouldn't have said such words to you, Dick. You know, so you do, if I was to be made a queen, it would be my pride, Dick, to share all my gold with brother and you.
Dick, crossing to centre.
My dear Sis. Well, I'm sorry. Faith I am. And if ever I or my family should come to fortune, but pshaw, hang it, my father keeps a chandler's shop without custom.
Re-enter waiter, right.
The cloth is laid for you in the other room, gentlemen, for you can't dine here.
Why so?
The churchwardens come to eat a great dinner here once a month for the good of the poor. This is their day.
That's as they do down with us. But I could never find out why stuffing a churchwarden's belly was for the good of the poor of the parish.
Nor I neither, unless he got a surfeit that carried him off. Come, Ezekiel, you shall go presently after the place, but first let us refresh. What we eat will be for the good of the poor, I'm certain. Sis, your arm.
To the waiter.
Take my bundle, you dog, and don't drop anything out, for I've no linen to spare. Come, sis.
Exeunt Dick, Cicely, and Ezekiel right. The waiter follows. End of Act 1. Act 2 of The Heir at Law by George Colman the Younger. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Act 2. Scene 1. The lodgings of Miss Dormer. A table and 2 chairs, a door right, a draught in the table drawer. Caroline Dormer discovered.
I wish Kenrick were come back. My last hope hangs upon the answer he will bring me. World, world, when affluence points the telescope, how closely does it attract thy venal inhabitants? How magnified roar their smiles! Let poverty reverse the glass, far distant does it cast them from us, and the features of friendship are dwindled into nothing. I hear him coming.
Enter Kenrick, right.
Well, Kenrick, have you carried the letter?
Indeed, and I have, Miss Caroline.
And what answer from my father's old friend, Kenrick?
Faith now, your father's old friend, begging your pardon, answered like a big blackguard.
Surely, Kenrick, he could not look surprised at my application.
Faith, he looked for all the world as if he had swallowed a bottle of vinegar when I was his honours, your poor deceased father's butler, and helped this dear old friend to good bumpers of Madeira, and be hanged to him. He made clean another sort of a face of it.
And has he sent no letter in answer?
Not a syllable at this present writing. It was all by verbal word of dirty mouth.
Insulting!
Give my compliments to Miss Caroline Dormer, says he, and tell her I'm sorry for her misfortunes. Bless you, says I, but I cannot be of the smallest service to her. The devil fly away with you, thinks I.
Did he assign no reason?
Oh, to be sure, an old skinflint doesn't always give you plenty of reasons for being hard-hearted. 'Tis fitting he should, miss, because the case requires it. But compassion is compassion, and that's reason enough for showing it in all conscience.
But what said he, Kenrick?
Her father, Mr. Dormer's bankruptcy, says he, has made a terrible deal of noise in the world. Aye, and a terrible deal of work too, says I, for you know, Miss Caroline, my poor old master, rest his soul, was one of the biggest merchants in the city of London.
True, Kenrick, but died almost one of its poorest inhabitants.
That's what the old fellow said. Her father has died so involved, says he, that no prudent man can concern himself for the daughter or run the risk of meddling with his affairs. And so he ended, with his respects, and a parcel of palaver to you, and an offer of 1/2 crown to your humble servant as an old acquaintance.
And yet, had my father's prudence been of his complexion, I doubt, Kenrick, whether this man would now have had half a crown to offer you.
Och, now, if I had but minded to tell him that. But I made the half-crown tell him as plain as it could speak, for I threw it upon the old miser's table with a great big whack, and by my soul he never jumped so high at 2 and 6pence before in all his beggarly born days.
Then there's no hope from that quarter, Kenrick?
No more hope than there is in a dead coach-horse.
I wish to be alone, Kenrick. Pray leave me.
Leave you, and in grief, Miss Caroline?
I would not have you, my good man, a witness to my affliction.
What? And wasn't my poor dear departed wife Judith your own nurse, wet and dry, for many a good year? And isn't myself, Felix Kenrick, your own foster father, that have dandled you in these old arms when you were the size of a dumpling? And will I leave you to take on after this fashion, all alone by yourself?
Pray be silent, Kenrick. O nature, spite of the inequalities which birth and education have placed between thy children, still, nature, with all thy softness, I own thee. The tear of an old and faithful servant which bedews the ruins of his shelter is an honest drop that penetrates the heart.
Sits and weeps.
Ay, cry away, my poor Miss Caroline, cry away. I shared the sunshine of your family, and it is fair that I should go halves in the ruin.
A poor £200, Kenrick, are now all that remain to me.
Well, come, £200 nowadays are not to be sneezed at. Consider how consoling it is, my dear miss, to think that, with good management, it may be a matter of 2 years before you are left without a penny in the whole wide world, and that's 24 calendar months, you know.
Had this hollow friend of my father's exerted himself in the wreck of our house's fortune, he might probably have averted the penury which threatens me.
Oh, if I could but beat humanity into his heart through his carcass, I'd make him as tender as a suckling pig.
Lord Doubley's death, too, in the moment of my difficulties. In him I might still have found a protector.
Ay, and his brave son, too, the Honourable Mr. Henry Morland, that was to have married you. Well, be of good heart now, for he's dead, the poor drowned youth.
Desist, Kenrick, I beseech you.
Ah, well, now you are unhappy. But, you see, I'm after making you easy. Just as the 2 families had popped down, the man of your heart for your husband, faith, he popped himself into his decent watery grave, and I'm left the only tender friend you have in the world to remind you of it.
Remind me no more, Kenrick. Your intention is good, but this is torment to me, instead of...
Ezekiel homespun without right.
Above stairs. Oh, very well, ma'am. Thank ye, ma'am.
Hark! I hear someone inquiring for me on the stairs.
Now that's the worst of these lodgings. Faith, the people come into your house before you have opened the door.
A knock at the door, right.
Come in.
Enter Ezekiel and Cicely Homespun, right downstage.
Have you any business with me, friend?
Why, yes, ma'am. It be a smallish bit of business, as anybody may say.
Well, young man?
Why, ma'am, I be come to... Pray, if I may make so bold, isn't your name A.B.?
Oh, I understand. You come in consequence of an advertisement. I believe you may leave us, Kenrick. It was I who advertised for a maidservant.
And with submission, ma'am, I be come to offer for the place.
Kenrick, aside, going.
This is the first time I ever saw a servant maid in a pair of leathern breeches in all my life.
Exit left.
You honest friend, as a maidservant?
It's for Cicely. Curtsy, Cicely.
I do, Brother Ezekiel.
This be my sister, ma'am. We be newly come from Derbyshire, and lighting at the Blue Boar, the great inn in Auburn, that... But perhaps you may frequent it, ma'am.
Caroline, smiling.
Well, friend?
Why, we stumbled upon your notice in the newspaper, ma'am. And so here we be, ma'am.
Caroline, to Cicely.
Have you ever been in service before, child?
No, never. If you please, madame, I was always with father and minded the dairy.
And why did you quit your father, pray?
He died. If you please, madame, it was a sad day for brother and I. 'Tis a cruel thing, madame, to lose a good father.
It is indeed, child. I can well feel it.
And when he dies in distress too, madame.
Did your father die so, child?
All along of that wicked squire. Mother were long gone, and when children be left destitute, it be hard to find a friend to compassionate 'em.
I will be that friend. My power is little, almost nothing, but as far as it can go, you shall find a protection.
Oh, the gracious! What a pure lady!
But can you refer me to anyone for a character?
I ain't gotten a character in my pocket, ma'am. They tell me that be the way they do take most characters in London.
Giving a paper.
Here be a certificate from Parson Brock of our parish.
I see. What can you do to be useful, Cicely?
Oh, a power of things! I can churn and feed the ducks, milk cows, and fatten a pig, madame.
Yes, you will find Sister Cicely handy enough, I'll warrant her.
All this will be of little service in London.
Odd rabbit it, ma'am. She will soon learn here to put her hand to anything. Won't you, Cicely?
If I don't, it shan't be for lack of want of inclination. So please you, my lady.
Well, child, come in the evening, and you shall begin your service. We shall not disagree about wages, and you will be treated more like a humble friend than a servant.
Calling off, left.
Kenrick! I shall have only yourself and a poor faithful Irishman.
Goes up to the table. Ezekiel, aside.
An Irishman? Dang it, these Irishmen, as I be told, be devils among the girls. My mind do misgive me, for Cicely be young and thoughtless.
Re-enter Kenrick, left. Caroline, coming forward with the draft.
Show these good people down, Kenrick, and take this bill to Lombard Street.
I shall do that thing, Miss Caroline.
Ezekiel, aside.
Oh, this then be the Irishman. He be a plaguey old one indeed. Come, there be nothing to fear about he.
To Caroline.
A good day to ye, ma'am. Curtsy, Cicely.
Come, you two go first, for I must be after showing you the way, you know.
Exeunt Ezekiel and Cicely, right downstage, followed by Kenrick.
This simple girl's story approaches so near to my own that it touches me. Poor innocence! Mine is a sorry shelter in your wanderings, yet it may be warmer than one more splendid, for opulence relieves, sometimes with coldness, sometimes with ostentation, sometimes with levity, but sympathy kindles the brightest spark that shines on the altar of compassion, and tenderness pours on it the sweetest balm that charity produces, when the afflicted administer to the afflicted.
Exit left. Scene 2. A room at the Blue Boar Inn. Table and chairs. A bundle in a blue and white pocket handkerchief on the table. Enter Dr. Pangloss and waiter, left.
Let the chariot turn about. Dr. Pangloss in Lord's chariot. Coru potator eodum. Juvenal. Waiter.
Sir?
Have you any gentlemen here who arrived this morning?
There's one in the house now, sir.
Is he juvenile?
No, sir, he's Derbyshire.
Pangloss, laughing.
Of what appearance is the gentleman?
Why, plaguey poor, sir.
I hold him rich. All he had not a shirt. Chaucer. Denominated the Honourable Mr. Dowlas.
Honourable? He left his name plain Dowlas at the bar, sir.
Plain Dowlas, did he? That will do, for all the rest is leather.
Leather, sir?
And Prunello, Pope. Tell Mr. Dowlas a gentleman requests the honour of an interview.
This is his room, sir. He has but just stepped into our parcel house. He'll be with you directly.
Exit right.
Never before did honour and affluence let fall such a shower on the head of Dr. Pangloss. Fortune, I thank thee. Propitious goddess, I am grateful. I, thy favoured child, who commenced his career in the loftiest apartment of a muffin-maker in Milk Alley. Little did I think, good easy man, Shakespeare, of the riches and literary dignities which now...
Enter Dick Dowlas, right.
My pupil.
Dick, entering.
Well, where is the man that wants...
Seeing Pangloss.
Oh, you are he, I suppose?
I am the man, young gentleman. Homo sum. Terence. Sir, the person who now presumes to address you is Peter Pangloss, to whose name, in the College of Aberdeen, is subjoined LL.D., signifying Doctor of Laws, to which has been recently added the distinction of A.S.S., the Roman initials for a Fellow of the Society of Arts.
Sir, I am your most obedient Richard Dowlas, to whose name in his tailor's bill is subjoined D.R., signifying debtor, to which are added L.S.D., the Roman initials for pounds, shillings, and pence.
Pangloss, aside.
Ah, this youth was doubtless designed by destiny to move in the circles of fashion, for he's dipped in debt, and makes a merit of telling it.
But what are your commands with me, doctor?
I have the honour, young gentleman, of being deputed an ambassador to you from your father.
Then you have the honour to be ambassador of as good-natured an old fellow as ever sold a ha'porth of cheese in a chandler's shop.
Pardon me, if, on the subject of your father's cheese, I advise you to be as mute as a mouse in one for the future. 'Twere better to keep that altamente repostum. Virgil.
Why, what's the matter? Any misfortune? Broke, I fear.
No, not broke, but his name, as is customary in these cases, has appeared in the Gazette.
Not broke, but gazetted? Why, zounds and the devil!
Check your passions. Learn philosophy. When the wife of the great Socrates threw a teapot at his erudite head, he was as cool as a cucumber. When Plato...
Hang Plato! What of my father?
Don't hang Plato. The bees swarmed round his mellifluous mouth as soon as he was swaddled. Cum incunis apes in la bellis considisant. Cicero.
I wish you had a swarm round yours with all my heart. Come to the point.
In due time, but calm your choler. Ira furor brevis est. Horace.
Producing a letter.
Read this.
Dick snatches the letter, breaking it open and reading.
Dear Dick, this comes to inform you I am in a perfect state of health, hoping you are the same. That's the old beginning. It was my lot last week to be made, a bankrupt, I suppose, to be made a... What? To be made a...
Spelling.
P-E-A-R... A pear? To be made a pear? What the devil does he mean by that?
A peer. A peer of the realm. His lordship's orthography is a little loose, but several of his equals countenance the custom. Lord Loggerhead always spells physician with an F.
A peer? What, my father? I'm electrified. Old Daniel Dowless made a peer? But let me see.
Reading.
A peer of the realm. Lawyer Ferret got me a title, and an estate of 15,000 per ann by making me out next of kin to old Lord Duberly because he died without hair. 'Tis an odd reason, by the by, to be next of kin to a nobleman because he died bald.
His lordship means heir to his estate. We shall ameliorate his style speedily. Reform it altogether. Shakespeare.
Dick, reading.
I send my carrot... Carrot?
Pangloss, laughing.
Chariot, his lordship means. Chariot, a little coach. Johnson.
With Dr. Pangloss in it.
That's me.
Respect him, for he's an LLD, and moreover an ASS.
They bow.
His lordship kindly condescended to insert that at my request.
And I have made him your tutorer to mend your cakeology.
Cacology, from cacos, mollis, and orgus, verbum, vide lexicon.
Come with the doctor to my house in Hanover Square. Hanover Square? I remain your affectionate father to command, Duberly.
That's his lordship's title.
It is?
It is.
Say sir to a lord's son. You have no more manners than a bear.
Bear? Under favour, young gentleman, I am the bear leader, being appointed your tutor.
And what can you teach me?
Prudence. Don't forget yourself in sudden success. Tecum habita, Perseus.
Prudence, to a nobleman's son with 15,000 a year?
Don't give way to your passions.
Give way? Zounds! I'm wild, mad. You teach me. Pooh! I have been in London before, and know it requires no teaching to be a modern fine gentleman. Why, it all lies in a nutshell. Sport a curricle, walk Bond Street, play at faro, get drunk, dance reels, go to the opera, cut off your tail, pull on your pantaloons, and there's a buck of the first fashion in town for you. Damn me! Do you think I don't know what's going?
Crosses.
Mercy on me! I shall have a very refractory pupil.
Not at all. We'll be hand and glove together, my little doctor. I'll drive you down to all the races, with my little terrier between your legs in a tandem.
And Dr. Pangloss, the philosopher, with a terrier between his legs in a tandem?
I'll tell you what, Doctor. I'll make you my long stop at cricket. You shall draw corks when I'm president, laugh at my jokes before company, squeeze lemons for punch, cast up the reckoning, and woe betide you if you don't keep sober enough to see me safe home after a jollification.
Make me a long stop and a squeezer of lemons? Zounds! This is more fatiguing than walking out with the lapdogs. And are these the qualifications for a tutor, young gentleman?
To be sure they are. 'Tis the way that half the prig parsons who educate us at honorables jump into fat livings.
'Tis well they jump into something fat, at least, for they must wear all the flesh off their bones in the process.
Come now, tutor, go you and call the waiter.
Go and call? Sir, I'll have you to understand, Mr. Dowlas.
Aye, let us understand one another, doctor. My father, I take it, comes down handsomely to you for your management of me?
My lord has been liberal.
But 'tis I must manage you, doctor. Acknowledge this, and between ourselves I'll find means to double your pay.
Double my?
Do you hesitate? Why, man, you have set up for a modern tutor without knowing your trade.
Double my pay? Say no more. Done. Actum est. Terence.
Calling off.
Oh, waiter! Gad, I've reached the right reading at last. I've often wished that I had clear, for life, £600 a year. Swift.
Calling.
Waiter!
That's right. Tell him to pop my clothes and linen into the carriage. They are in that bundle.
Enter waiter left.
Waiter, here. Put all the Honourable Mr. Dowlas's clothes and linen into his father's, Lord Dubberly's, chariot.
Where are they all, sir?
All wrapped up in the Honourable Mr. Dowlas's pocket-handkerchief.
Exit waiter with the bundle left.
See him safe in, doctor, and I'll be with you directly.
I go, most worthy pupil.
Aside.
£600 a year. However deficient in the classics, his knowledge of arithmetic is admirable. I've often wished that I had clear for life.
Nay, nay, don't be so slow.
Swift. I'm gone.
Exit left.
What am I to do with Ezekiel and Cis? When a poor man has grown great, his old acquaintance generally begin to be troublesome.
Enter Ezekiel Homespun, left.
Well, I ain't been long.
Dick, coolly.
No, you are come time enough in all conscience.
Cicely had gotten the place. I been almost start wild with joy. Such a good-natured young madam. Why, you don't seem pleased, man. Sure and sure, you be glad of our good fortune, Dick.
Dick? Why, what do you...
Aside.
Oh, but he doesn't know yet that I'm a lord's son.
Aloud.
I rejoice to hear of your success, friend Ezekiel.
Why now, that's hearty. But, hey, why you look so mortal heavy and lumpish, Dick? No bad tidings since we have been out, I hope?
Oh, no.
Hey, let's have a squint at you. Odd rabbit it, but summat have happened. You have seen your father, and things has gone crossish. Who have been here, Dick?
Only a gentleman who had the honour of being deputed ambassador from my father.
What the dickens? An ambassador? Pish! Now you be a queering a body. An ambassador sent from an old chandler to Dick Dowlas, Lawyer Latitat's clerk? Come, that be a good one, Fegs.
Dick Dowlas and a lawyer's clerk? Sir, the gentleman came to inform me that my father, by being proved next of kin to the late lord, is now Lord Duberly, by which means I am now the Honourable Mr. Dowlas.
Odds flesh, gie us your fist, Dick. I never shook the fist of an honourable afore in all my born days. Old Daniel made a lord. I be main glad to hear it. This be news indeed. But, Dick, I hope he had gotten some ready along with his title, for a lord without money be but a foolish wishy-washy kind of a thing after all.
My father's estate is 15,000 a year.
Mercy on us! You take my breath away.
Dick, crossing to left.
Well, Ezekiel, Cis and you shall hear from me soon.
Why, you bain't be going, Dick.
I must pay my duty to his lordship. His chariot waits for me below. We have been some time acquainted, Ezekiel, and you may depend upon my good offices.
You do seem a little frustrated with these tidings, Dick. I should be loath to think our kindness was a cooling.
Oh, no. Rely on my protection.
Why, look'ee, Dick Dowlas, as to protection and all that, we have been old friends, and if I should need it from you, it be no more nor my right to expect it, and your business to give it me. But Cicely ha' gotten a place, and I have hands and health to get a livelihood. Fortune, good or bad, tries the man, they do say, and if I should hap to be made a lord to-morrow, as who can say what may betide, since they have made one out of an old chandler?
Well, sir, and what then?
Why, then, the finest feather in my lordship's cap would be to show that there would be as much shame in slighting an old friend because he be poor, as there be pleasure in owning him when it be in our power to do him service.
You mistake me, Ezekiel. I...
Aside.
'Sdeath, I'm quite confounded. I'm trying to be as fashionable here as my neighbors, but nature comes in and knocks it all on the head.
Aloud.
Ezekiel, give me your hand.
Then there be a hearty Castleton slap for ye. The grasp of an honest man can't disgrace the hand of a duke, Dick.
You're a kind soul, Ezekiel. I regard you sincerely. I love Sicily and...
Aside.
Hang it. I'm going too far now for a lord's son. Pride and old friendship are fighting in me, till I am almost bewildered.
Aloud.
You shall hear from me in a few hours. Goodbye, Ezekiel. Goodbye.
Exit left.
I don't know what ails me, but I be almost ready to cry. Dick be a high-mettled youth, and this news have put him a little beside himself. I should make a bit of allowance. His heart, I do think, is in the right road, and when that be the case, he be a hard judge that won't pardon an old friend's spirits when they do carry him a little way out on.
Exit left. End of Act 2. Act 3 of The Heir at Law by George Colman the Younger. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Act 3. Scene 1, London. A room in a hotel. Enter waiter Wright, ushering in Henry Morland and Steadfast.
These are the apartments, gentlemen.
Exit waiter.
Welcome at last, Mr. Morland, to London. After wandering over foreign lands, with what joy an Englishman sets his foot on British ground. His heart swells with pleasure as he drives through his fat, native soil which ruddy labour has cultivated, till he reaches this grand reservoir of opulence, an opulence which may well make him proud, for its honourable source is his countryman's industry.
To you, Steadfast, who have no private fears, no anxieties for your family, the satisfaction must be exquisite.
Why, I am an old bachelor, 'tis true, and without relations, but the whole country is my family. I could not help thinking, as we posted to town, that each jolly peasant and each cherry-cheeked lass was a kind of humble brother and sister to me, and they called forth my affections accordingly. Rich or poor, great or small, we all form one chain, Henry. May the larger and lesser links hold kindly together till time slides into eternity.
Truce to these reflections. Now, my dear Steadfast, they do your heart honour, but mine is filled with 1,000 apprehensions. My father, Caroline.
A father and a mistress, duty and love. That's a slow fire and a fierce blaze. And doubt blowing the bellows upon them, 'tis enough to scorch a young soul to a cinder.
'Tis strange I have never heard from either of them. After escaping the perils of shipwreck, after the sufferings which followed, a father and a mistress, soon to be made my wife, might surely have sent one line to testify their pleasure at my preservation.
Ay, now make yourself miserable. A young mind is too soon sanguine, and therefore too soon depressed.
Why, what can be the reason that they have never noticed my letters?
There is one reason indeed, that...
You alarm me. What can that be?
That they have never received them.
Impossible.
Nothing more likely. Consider your last letter from Quebec told your father, Lord Dubberly, that you had arranged all the business which had called you there, and that in 3 days you should embark for England.
Well, that he never answered.
I can't tell. Probably not. Most people think it somewhat superfluous to write to a correspondent at Quebec after he has left the place.
Pshaw! I'm bewildered. But since...
Why, since the chances have been against you, wrecked on our passage, thrown upon the uninhabited part of the island of Cape Breton.
I shall never think of it without horror, nor without gratitude steadfast, to your friendly care, strangers as we then were to each other, on that frozen shore of desolation. I owe you my life.
Ah, pshaw, nonsense. We both met as fellow passengers, and were fellow sufferers, and I happen to be the toughest, that's all. To do as we would be done by is merely a part of our duty. But there is so much fuss made about it now, that I'm afraid the duty is too often neglected. I suppose we shall thank our shoeblack for brushing our boots, though we reward him for his business.
Yet humanity steadfast
is every man's business, and the reward he will ultimately receive for it is far above human calculation. But come, thank Providence and not me. To survive at the end of 2 months, when most of the small parcel of our comrades were dead, or dying about us, with cold and hunger, is no common escape.
And then, in a desperate hope, to launch our shattered boat in quest of an inhabited country, and to toss about for 2 months more, till, benumbed and perishing, we were discovered by the native and friendly Indians. All this, steadfast, was indeed a stout trial.
Then away with trifling fears now. Since our deliverance, we have changed our ground daily, on our return to England. The time, the distance, your letters, theirs, all may have miscarried.
May it prove so.
Crossing to right.
But let me hasten to my father's, and clear my doubts.
Stay. You know 'twas at my request you drove to this hotel. Now pray at my request let me wait on Lord Dubberly, to prepare him for your appearance.
But for what purpose?
A very evident one. The wreck of our ship has doubtless been long public in London, and as the crew and passengers are probably all supposed to have perished, your abrupt entrance at your father's might be too much for him.
You are perfectly right. In the moment when our passions are afloat, how beneficial is the cool judgment of a friend to direct us. But shouldn't I give you a line of introduction to my father?
Humph! Why, according to usual form, indeed. But I was never good at forms, and in this case it may be better to let me introduce myself in my own way. I hope Lord Dubberly is no stickler for ceremony.
He has the manifest virtue, and the warmest heart in the world, my friend. But I confess, to those who are unacquainted with him, these qualities, at first, are a little concealed by a coldness in manner that...
Oh, I understand. A little stately, or so.
Only a little of the vieille coura about him. A long habit of haranguing in Parliament gives a man a kind of dignity of deportment, and an elevation of style, not met with every day, you know. But gentleman is written legibly on his brow. Erudition shines through every polished period of his language, and he is the best of men, and of fathers, believe me.
I see. Grand and stiff, but of sterling value, like an old-fashioned silver candlestick.
Crossing to right.
Well, I'll soon bring you an account of my embassy.
And while you're at my father's, I will walk to Mr. Dormer's. My suspense about Caroline is intolerable. I must see the good old gentleman, and he will break my arrival to his daughter.
Meet me, then, here in a couple of hours.
Be it so. 1,000 thanks, my dear Steadfast.
1,000 fiddlesticks! I hate to be thanked 1,000 times for a trifle. I know 'tis the language of the day, but complimentary cant is the coinage of dishonesty, for the profession exceeds the feeling. And 9 men in 10 who give it under their hands that they are your most devoted humble servants pledge themselves to you for much more than they ever mean to perform.
Exeunt. Right. Scene 2. An apartment in Lord Dubberly's house, richly furnished. Lady Dubberly, right, and Dr. Pangloss, left, discovered, seated.
And how does my lord come in on his learning, doctor?
Apt, very apt indeed for his age. Defective in nothing now, but words, phrases, and grammar.
I wish you could learn him to follow my example and be a little genteel. But there is no making a silk purse out of a sow's ear, they say.
Time may do much, but as to my lord, everybody hasn't your ladyship's exquisite elegance.
Aside.
Upon my soul, a lie. Shakespeare.
A mighty pretty spoken man. And you are made tutorer, I'm told, doctor, to my Dicky.
That honour has accrued to your obsequious servant, Peter Pangloss. I have now the felicity of superintending your ladyship's Dicky.
I must not have my son thwarted, doctor, for when he has his way in everything he's the sweetest-tempered youth in Christendom.
An extraordinary instance of mildness.
Oh, as mild as mother's milk, I assure you. And what is he to learn, doctor?
Our readings will be various. Logic, ethics, and mathematics, history, foreign and domestic, geography, ancient and modern, voyages and travels, antiquities, British and foreign, natural history, natural and moral philosophy, classics, arts and sciences, belles lettres, and miscellanies.
Bless me! 'Tis enough to batter the poor boy's brains to a mummy.
A little learning.
Little, a load.
Is a dangerous thing. Pope.
And you have left out the main article.
What may your ladyship mean?
Mean? Why, dancing, to be sure.
Dancing? Dr. Pangloss, the philosopher, teach dancing?
Between whiles you might give Dick a lesson or two in the hall. As my lord's valet plays on the fiddle, it will be quite handy to have you both in the house, you know.
Pangloss, aside.
This is indeed barbarous old woman.
Aloud.
With submission to your ladyship, my business is with the head and not the heels of my pupil.
Fiddle-faddle! Lady Betty tells me that the heads of young men of fashion nowadays are by no means overloaded. They are all left to the barber and dentist.
'Twould be daring to dispute so self-evident an axiom. But if your ladyship...
Look ye, doctor, he must learn to dance and jabber French. And I wouldn't give a brass farden for anything else. I know what's elegance, and you'll find the grey mare the better horse in this house, I promise you.
Pangloss, aside.
Her ladyship, I perceive, is paramount. Dux fulmina facti. Virgil.
What's your pay here, Mr. Tutorer?
£300 per annum. That is 6, no, 3, no, I am no matter. The rest is between me and Mr. Dawless.
Aside.
Do as I direct you, in private, and to prevent words, I'll double it.
Double it?
Aside.
What, again? 900 per annum?
Aloud.
I'll take it. Your hand a covenant. A Shakespeare. Zoons, I've got beyond the reading at last. I've often wished that I had clear for life.
Lord Dudley is heard speaking without.
I hear, my lord. £900 a year. Swift.
Enter Lord Dudley and Dick Dowless, left.
Come along, Dick. Here he is again, my lady. Twist, the tailor happened to come in promiscuously, as I may say, and...
Accidentally, my lord, would be better.
Aye, accidentally, with a suit of my Lord Docktail's under his arm, and as we was in a bit of a rumpus to rig out Dick, why...
Dress, not rig, unless metaphorically.
Well, to dress out. Why, we... Doctor, don't bother. In short, we popped Dick into 'em, and Twist says they hit to a hair.
Yes, they are quite the dandy, aren't they, Mother? This is all the go, they say. Cut straight, that's the thing. Square waist, wrapped over the knee and all that. Slouch is the word now, you know.
Exceeding genteel, I declare. Turn about, Dick. They don't pinch, do they?
Oh, no, just as if I'd been measured.
Pinch? Lord love you, my lady. They sit like a sack. But why don't you stand up? The boy rolls about like a porpoise in a storm.
That's the fashion, Father. That's modern ease. Young Vats, the beau brewer from the borough, brought it down last Christmas to Castleton. A young fellow is nothing now without the Bond Street roll, a toothpick between his teeth, and his knuckles crammed into his coat pocket. Then away you go, lounging lazily along.
Strutting about.
Ah, Tom! What will? Rolling away, you see. How are you, Jack? What, my little Dolly? That's the way, isn't it, Mother?
Crossing right.
The very air and grace of our young nobility.
Is it? Grace must have got plaguey limber and lopped of late. There's the last Lord Dudley's father done in our dining room, with a wig as wide as a wash tub, and stuck up as stiff as a poker. He was one of your tip-tops, too, in his time, they tell me. He carried a gold stick before George the First.
Yes, and looks for all the world as straight as if he had swallowed it.
No matter for that, my lady. What signifies dignity without its crackeristic? A man should know how to bemean himself when he is as rich as Pluto.
Plutus, if you please, my lord. Pluto, no doubt, has disciples and followers of fashion. Plutus is the ruler of riches. Emenafo invoc avoguto aciennamo. Hesiod.
There, Dick. Do you hear how the tutor talks? Odd rabbit it. He can ladle you out Latin by the quart and grunts Greek like a pig. I've given him 300 a year and settled all he's to learn you. Ain't I, Doctor?
Certainly, my lord.
Aside.
Thrice to thine.
Yes, we know all about that, don't we, Doctor?
Decidedly.
Aside.
And thrice to thine.
Aye, clearly understood. Isn't it, Doctor?
Undoubtedly.
Aside.
And thrice again to make up 9. Shakespeare.
Enter John, right.
A card, my lord.
Handing it.
The gentleman waits in the eating-room and wishes to see your lordship on particular business.
Mr. Steadfast? Never heard of the name. Curse me. My lad, Tell him I'll be with him in the twinkling of a bedpost.
Exit John, right.
I shall go with your lordship through the gallery, for I must dress to attend Lady Betty.
Come along then, my lady. Dick, go with the tutorer. He'll give you a lesson in my library. Plenty of learning there, I promise you. I was looking at it, all of a row, this here very morning. There's all Horace's operas, Doctor, and such a sight of French books. But I see by the backs they're all written by Tom. Come along, my lady.
Exeunt Lord and Lady Doubly, right.
On what subject, Mr. Dowlas, shall we commence our researches this evening?
Tell him to light up the billiard room. We'll knock about the balls a little.
Knock about the balls? An admirable entrance upon a course of studies.
Do you know anything of the game?
I know how to pocket, young gentleman.
So do most tutors, Doctor.
And if I could but persuade you to peep into a classic...
Peep? Why, you prig of a fellow! Don't I pay you because I won't peep? Talk of this again, and I'm off our contract.
Are you? I'm dumb. Mammon leads me on. Milton. I follow.
Exeunt, right. Scene 3. Another apartment in Lord Doubly's house. 2 chairs. Enter Steadfast, left.
A noble house, faith, and bespeaks some of that stately dignity in the owner which my friend Harry hinted to me. His lordship, I warrant, is as stiff as buckram, with a pompous display of language that puzzles a plain man to keep pace with him.
Enter John, right.
My lord's compliments, sir, and he will be with you in the twinkling of a bedpost.
Exit left.
Zounds, that's the oddest phrase for a fine-spoken peer I've ever met with. The ignorance of the servant, I suppose. These blockheads never know how to deliver a message. Oh, here he comes.
Enter Lord Doubly, right.
Your lordship's most obedient servant.
Bows. Doubly, bowing vulgarly.
Sir, you're kindly welcome.
Steadfast, aside.
Kindly welcome. Condescending at least, but not quite so dignified as I expected.
Aloud.
I am a rough traveller, my lord, ungifted with your lordship's flow of diction, and having real business, I trust that without further preface I may plead my apology.
Aye? Business is business, and fine words, you know, butter no parsnips.
Steadfast, aside.
Butter, no parsnips. Why, he's sneering at my plainness. Or I have the person, or...
Aloud.
I have the honour, I think, of addressing Lord Doubly.
To be sure you have. As sure as eggs is eggs. Come, take a seat, mister. Mayhap you may choose a morsel of summit.
They sit.
Not anything,
Don't say no. A drop of wine now, or a sneaker of punch, or...
Nothing, my lord.
Aside.
I am thunderstruck.
Well now, then, for this here bit of business.
I have had some fears, my lord, that I might be too abrupt in the disclosure, but since this introduction is...
Oh, rot it! I was never for no long rigmaroles, not I. An honest man's meaning needs no flourishes. Honesty is like a good piece of English roast beef, Mr. Steadfast. It lacks little garnish, and the more plainer, the more palatabler. That's my sentiment.
I admire your sentiment, my lord.
Aside.
But I can't say much for your language.
Aloud.
I must inform your lordship that no great length of time has elapsed since I left. Do not be agitated. Quebec in America.
A Yankee Doodle, mayhap?
A Yankee
Rising.
I am not an American, my lord.
Doubly, rising.
No offence to you, but seein' you've got a tawny-ish tinge, I thought you might be a bit outlandish.
I shall ever be proud, my lord, in being able to say that I am an Englishman. But I should suppose any person recently arrived from the country I have named must sensibly interest your feelings.
Interest my...
Aside.
Why, what's he at? If I seem not to understand now, I shall make some plaguey hole in my manners, I'll warrant.
I perceive by your silence that your lordship is affected. A person in your situation cannot naturally be otherwise.
Doubly aside.
Then it's the fashion, I find, for a peer to be in a pucker when anybody comes from Quebec in America.
Pray inform me, my lord. Have you received any letter from your son since he wrote to advise you that he had finished the business which induced you to send him from home, and that he was immediately preparing to meet you in London?
Since that? No, to be sure. Why, Lord love you, he set out directly after, on purpose to come.
And your lordship has heard no news from any of his fellow passengers?
Fellow passengers? No, not I. Neither inside nor out.
Steadfast. Aside.
Inside or out. 'Tis plain, however, that we are all supposed to have gone to the bottom.
Aloud.
Know then, my lord, I was his fellow passenger.
Was you? You are just come up then, it seems.
Steadfast. Aside.
Come up. This is an easy way of talking to a man supposed to be drowned.
Aloud.
I am here, you see, my lord, but Providence be praised, it was never my fate to go down.
Well, that's no matter of mine. Your fate may have laid another way, to be sure, as you say.
Steadfast. Aside.
Another way, zounds! He can't dare to insinuate that I was born to be hanged. He appears the most ignorant, unfeeling...
Aloud.
Hear me, my lord. Has your son ever been dear to you?
Plaguey dear indeed, Mr. Steadfast. Only ask Dr. Pangloss.
An intimate, I suppose, to whom your lordship has unburdened your mind in private.
Yes, he mends my cakeology every morning, and is, moreover, a great philosopher.
On such an occasion, a father might well call in philosophy to his assistance.
I hired him on purpose.
Hired him?
Aside.
Hired a philosopher to console him for the death of his son? Delicacy is superfluous here, I see.
Aloud.
In short, my lord, I come to inform you that your son, lost as he has been to the world, has newly and unexpectedly entered into life.
Well, and what then?
What then?
Aside.
The brutal apathy in this post of a peer makes me ready to beat him.
Aloud.
Why, then, he has this day arrived in town, here, in this very metropolis.
Why, what signifies a cock and a bull's story about what I know already?
Know it? It must then be by inspiration. By what supernatural sign have you discovered his arrival?
What sign? Why, damn me, a blue boar.
My lord, ignorance. Little indeed from the account I received from a blindly affectionate youth did I expect to find it here. Ignorance may palliate meanness and buffoonery, and merely meet contempt. But want of feeling excites indignation. You have shocked me, and I leave you. From exalted rank like yours, my lord, men look for exalted virtue, and when these are coupled, they command respect and grace of each other. But the coronet which gives and receives splendor, when fixed on the brow of merit, glitters on the worthless head like a mark of disgrace, to render vice, folly, and inhumanity conspicuous.
Exit left.
That there chap's mad. He has put me all of a twitter. If my lady had happened to be here, I'm sure she'd have perspired with fear.
Calling off.
John!
Enter John, left.
My lord?
Has the porter let out that there man?
Yes, my lord.
Never let him clap his ugly mug into these here doors again. He's as mad as any poor soul under a statue of lunacy. Shut the doors, do you hear?
Exit John, left.
I'd rabbit it. If peers are to be frightened in this here fashion, I'd rather serve soap and candles again in comfort at Gosport.
Exit right. Scene 4. Another apartment in Lord Dudley's house. Enter Dick Dowlas and Ezekiel Homespun, left.
Well, but at this unseasonable time to...
I couldn't help it, Dick.
'Tisn't the fashion to pay a visit at this time in the evening. Who let you in?
Why, a fat man in the hall that popped out of a leather chair that comes all over his head like a tub.
The porter, I suppose?
Belike it was. He has tassels atop his shoulders, and a sight of binding that looks like parsley and butter about his waistcoat.
But why did you come now?
Why, I do tell ye, I was uneasy about ye, Dick. I couldn't have stayed away if I was to be hanged for it. You did promise to meet us this afternoon.
I have been prevented. We young fellows of fashion can't answer for our hours.
Ah, Dick, Lunham fashions and friendship, I do fear, do seldom long go cheek by jowl. I had just left Cicely at the place.
Well, and what of her, Ezekiel?
Poor soul, she had been sobbing ready to burst her heart.
Cicely in tears? For what?
All along of you, man. You did promise to come, and she do tell me she ne'er knowed you break your word till you was made a gentleman. I said all I could think of to comfort her.
Well, and what did you say?
Why, I told her you had always dealt fair and open with her till now, and if you could be honest to her when you were a lawyer, there might be some hope of your being so now, even though you be made an honourable.
Well, I shall see her tomorrow. And see you too, Ezekiel, and settle some plan for her and...
Plan? Why, the plan be settled already, you know. She be in place and...
Pshaw, in place will never do. I have a liking for her, you know, and when...
A liking?
Yes. That's a love, you know, and a regard for you, Ezekiel, and... In short, a girl on whom Lord Duberly's son has fixed his affections must not remain in service. It would disgrace one of us.
It can't disgrace one of us, Dick. A good girl who has lost her parents' support and to get her bread in honest industry be a pride instead of a disgrace to any that loves her, you know.
I didn't mean that.
No. Bless you, 'twere only your good heart run away with you. You do wish us well, Dick. You do wish to serve us, and overshot yourself a little in what you said. That be all.
Why, look you, Ezekiel. You are a well-meaning lad.
Aye, and so be you, Dick. I were getting a bit tiffish with you at the Blue Boar. I did think sudden pride were going to turn you topsy-turvy. I were angry at myself afterwards. But I do beg your pardon, heartily, my good friend. Faith, heartily.
Nay, hear me. 'Tis fit we should understand one another, which we do not seem to do at present.
Don't us? Ecod! I should be grieved at that, Dick.
Listen to me. My situation, you see, is much altered.
Woundily indeed. Here be a house, and what a brave coat you had gotten on, Dick.
No matter. But there are situations in the world, Ezekiel, that do not always tally. Chance may remove one man so far from another in the rank of life that, though their good will may continue the same, Custom requires that they should not live exactly, mind I say not exactly, on the same footing.
I see what you're driving at, Dick. I see it. I did fear it all along. Well, I do know I bain't company for a lord's son, but when a lord was once a chandler, I thought, indeed, no matter. Bless thee, Dick, I shall always wish thee well.
Going.
Nay, I don't mean that we should separate. On the contrary, I wish we may be closer in friendship than ever.
Ah, Dick, I have loved thee. I have parted with my last farthing to... No matter.
There's no occasion to take it in this manner. We may both be rich, both happy, Ezekiel, but you know how impossible it is for the son of a peer to marry a sister.
Aye, I do see it. It be all over.
No reason for that on earth, for though the world places a distance between Cis and me as to matrimony, yet it makes an allowance for everything else.
I don't understand you, Dick.
Why, my rank not permitting the usual forms between us, which my regard for her happiness makes me wish could take place, all I can now do is raise her from future fear of poverty, and we may be man and wife in everything but the ceremony.
Oh, now I do understand you. You be a rascal. Odds flesh. I shall choke. You damn rascal. Keep out of my way, or I may do you a mischief.
Nay, out...
Dick. Had a stranger done this, I'd have knocked him down. But for a dear friend to turn traitor...
Bursting into tears.
It's too much. I can't stand it.
Well, but only hear me.
I heard too much already. Rot it. I'll be ashamed to be such a blubberer. But the greatest shame do light upon you.
Dick, abashed.
I begin to feel that it does, Ezekiel.
And well you may. If it be the part of a lord's son to stab his friend to the heart by robbing his sister of her honesty, much good may it do you with your grandeur. But let me tell your grandeur this, Mr. Dowlas. You do know summat, little enough to be sure, of the law, and the law of the land do make no difference twixt a peer and a ploughman. If you dare to hurt Cicely, the law shall lay you flat in the first place, and my ploughman's fist will lay you flat in the second. And so my service to you.
Exit left.
My heart upbraids me. I have wounded, at one blow, an honest man and an innocent girl, whom reason and inclination tell me to love. Now I am so mere a beginner, that whether this is or is not fashion, curse me if I know, but I have been told it is. I must go deeper into its mysteries, or abstain from it altogether, and I feel so much pain already that, in this same career of fashion, where feeling, they say, is banished, I shall make a very awkward figure.
Exit left. End of Act 3. Four of The Heir at Law by George Colman the Younger. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Act 4. Scene 1. The lodgings of Caroline Dormer. A table and chairs. A door, right. Ezekiel right and Cicely Homespun left, discovered, seated. Cicely crying and leaning on Ezekiel.
Do ye cheer up a bit, Sister Cicely? Don't you take on so, don't you now?
Oh, Ezekiel, for certain my poor heart will break.
Don't ye say so, Cicely, for that will go nigh to break mine.
I never will give ear to a lover's vows again as long as I do breathe.
Ah, that be what all the girls do say over and over.
A base, perjury man.
That he be. He has stung me to the quick. A viper. And to offer to abuse you. Curse him.
They rise.
Oh, don't you say that of him, Ezekiel. I can't bear that, though he has been so cruel to me.
Then pluck up a bit of spirit now, pray you do. You have gotten a good place, you do know, and things will go well enough, I'll warrant us. How dost like Madam, eh, Cicely?
Purely. She is so tender and kind to me, Ezekiel. Hey-ho!
Come, dry your eyes now, Cicely. I be main glad to hear Madam be so good to you. What did you do after I left last night?
Why, I was but poorly, Ezekiel. I have been crying, you know.
Yes, but don't ye cry any more, Cicely.
And when Miss Dormer saw it, she was so kind and so comfortable to me.
Was she? Good soul.
And she bid me go to rest, and spoke as sweet, and took as much care of me as poor mother used to do.
Bless her for it. If I ever be able to make a return, I'll...
Dear, I hear her in the next room. She is up, and if she should catch us here...
Enter Caroline Dormer, left.
There, now.
Cicely, child, I thought you had not risen. I didn't wish you to attend if you were unwell, my poor girl.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you very kindly, madam.
Oh, your brother, I see.
At your humble service, madam. I made bold to call to see how sister were, and to make my humble duty to you, ma'am.
Crosses.
Cicely do tell me you have been main kind to her. We be poor, ma'am, but I do hope you will be pleased to take our thanks without offence.
Offence, honest friend. To merit and receive the thanks of the poor is one of the heart's best gratifications.
Ezekiel apart to Cicely.
She be main good-natured indeed.
To Caroline.
I had a little bit of a favour to ask, ma'am.
What is it, friend?
Why, here be a scrap of paper. It were poor father's. If you would be pleased to tell me if it be worth anything now it be so old.
Handing it. Caroline, looking at the paper.
It is worth inquiring after. 'Tis an old lottery ticket.
Returning it to Ezekiel.
Rot it. Then it be of little good. Father had no luck that way. But for all mother could say, he was always a-dabbling and a-dabbling. I'll seek about it at the shop, though. I do wish you a dutiful good morning, ma'am.
A good day, friend.
Ezekiel apart to Cicely.
Pluck up a spirit, do ye now, Cicely. Gi' us a bus.
Kisses her.
There now, let that comfort ye a bit. I'll call by and by.
To Caroline, bowing.
A good day to you, ma'am.
Exit. Right down stage.
You do not look recovered yet, Cicely.
I shall be better in time, if you please, madame.
Come, child, you must not give way to low spirits. Your situation is new to you indeed, but this fickle world is full of changes, Cicely.
Cicely, weeping.
Oh, dear me, sure enough this world is full of fickleness and change.
Well, but do not cry thus, child.
I must cry, if you please, madame. I can't help it. Indeed, I can't.
Poor girl. Does anything press heavily on your mind, Cicely?
Yes, madame.
What is it? Is it in my ability to relieve you?
Oh, no, madame. 'Tis quite out of your power to give me what I have lost.
Lost, child? Have you lost anything since you came to London?
Yes, madame.
Your clothes, or a parcel, or...
No, madame.
What then, child?
A young man, madame.
Lost a young man, Cicely?
He was once the truest-hearted youth, Lawyer Lettetat's clerk of our town, if you please, madame. We were to be married. Brother was agreeable to it, and now he has basely left me, and all because he has grown rich and great.
What, since last night? That is somewhat sudden indeed.
I should as soon have looked to be queen as to think my Dick would be made a lord's son.
Made a lord's son? How, Cicely?
I don't know how they make lord's sons, madame, but his father has a good fortune by a death, and so Dick is now son to Lord Duberley.
Lord Duberley?
Aside.
Good heaven, how that name agitates me.
Aloud.
The present Lord Duberley, you mean, Cicely?
Yes, if you please, madame. The last lord, Ezekiel heard it all from the porter. The last lord's son was drowned at sea, they say. Perhaps you may have heard on it, madame.
Caroline, much agitated.
I have indeed, Cicely.
Oh, dear. Ain't you well, madame?
Yes, 'tis nothing, Cicely. And so your lover, my poor girl, has deserted you?
Oh, worse than that, madame. Brother is almost out of his wits about it, for he said, a base, cruel man, he would make my fortune by ruinating me.
Poor simplicity! Dry your tears, my good girl, and rather rejoice that you have escaped the snares of a profligate. You shall not want protection while I can give it to you.
Heaven bless you. You are very, very kind, madame.
Enter Kenrick hastily, right downstage.
Oh, Miss Caroline.
Well, Kenrick?
Oh, why didn't I die before I was born to see this ill-looking day?
Why, what's the matter?
The matter? And haven't I trotted into Lombard Street to get your draft turned into money?
To be sure, for there lies the little which I now possess, Kenrick.
And it lies there like my old Uncle Dennis in Carrickfergus churchyard, for we shall never see it again as long as we live.
Good heaven, you alarm me. Surely this house has not failed?
No, faith, the house stands plump and upright, just where it did, but the old thief of a banker hasn't a 13 left to cross his rogue's hand with.
Broke!
By my soul, all to shivers, and so bad, they say, that all the devils can't mend him.
Caroline, sinking on a chair.
Oh, then indeed, I am completely ruined.
Cicely, running to her.
No, don't you say so, madame.
Don't grieve, my sweet Miss Caroline, don't grieve. Oh, bedad, my old heart is as full as a basket of eggs. Pray now, keep a good spirit, for you have lost every farthing you have in the world.
Oh, the gracious, is that it? Pray, if you please, madame, don't take on so then, for I have money.
What? Have you money?
Aye, that I have, and while I have 10 good pounds that poor mother left me in my box, and a silver watch, it shall never be said that I kept it from one in distress, who has been so kind to me.
Bless your pretty little soul. What a pity it is, now that a generous heart hasn't always a heavy purse to keep it company.
My poor girl, your grateful attachment touches me. I must retire and think of... Do not follow me, Cicely. I must consult on measures to... Oh, Providence! For what misery am I ordained?
Exit left.
Dear, I hope I haven't given Madame offence by what I said.
No, my sweet one, you're a little angel in a mob cap. What will I do now? Faith, I haven't a brother. nor a nephew, nor a cousin german, nor a fath, nor any little bit of a kinsman left to assist in botheration. Come, little one, there's my watch, my buckles, and by my soul, I'd pledge myself if the pawnbroker would lend me anything upon me.
Exeunt. Downstage right. Scene 2, a street. Door in flat to open. Enter Dick Dowlas and Dr. Pangloss left.
It don't signify, Doctor. I can't rest till I've seen Cicely.
What's a tutor's power over a pupil in love? Annihilated. True, though trite, that omnia vincent amor. Ovid. Is she pretty?
What's that to you?
Nothing. I'm dead to the fascinations of beauty, since that unguarded day of dalliance, when, being full of Bacchus, Bacchi plenus, Horace, my pocket was picked of a metal watch at the sign of the Sceptre in Shoe Lane.
This is the house. I've told you my story, and as you value my 300 a year, Doctor, be ready to assist me, either by message, letter, or... But what a confounded gig you look like.
A gig? Ugh. That's an Eton phrase. The Westminsters call it quiz.
And you are the greatest, sure, that ever was dispatched on love's embassies from the court of Cupid.
I am not proud of the post. Take my counsel, and drop the pursuit. Refrain, desist, desine. Terence.
Why, look ye, Doctor. I've done an injury to 2 worthy souls, and I can't rest till I've made reparation. We are all of us wrong at times, Doctor, but a man doubles his ill conduct when he is too proud to make an apology for it.
Yet, confessing our faults, Mr. Dowlas,
is only saying, in other words, Doctor, that we are wiser today than we were yesterday.
Swift. Plenty of precedents, however, for your conduct. At lovers' perjuries, they say.
Well, what do they say?
They say Jove laughs. Shakespeare. Phelan left Sappho. Theseus Ariadne. Demophoon Phyllis. Aeneas Dido.
Oh, damn Dido.
Damn Dido? Well, damn Dido with all my heart. She was the daughter to King Belus of Tyre, but as Varia Virago...
Well, we need not go so far for examples. Now knock at that door.
Double?
Zounds! No, you'll spoil all. A sneaking single tap, like a dun, Doctor.
Like a dun? I know the knock well, Mr. Dowlas.
And when 'tis given, get out of the way for a while.
My constant custom on such an occasion.
Knocking at the door left.
There's the thorough thump of a creditor. I never heard it, but I ran away upon instinct. Shakespeare.
Exit hastily, left upstage exit. Enter Cicely Homespun from the house, left. Dick stands with his back towards her, right.
Dear, sure somebody knocked. I see nobody but that gentleman neither. It could not be he, for if footman thumps so loud, for certain your gentle folks must always beat the door down.
Crossing to Dick.
Was it you that knocked, pray, sir?
He turns round, and Cicely screams.
Don't come near me!
My dear Cicely,
Oh, Dick! Dick!
Weeps and falls into his arms.
'Tis you who have been the cause of them. You have almost cut my poor heart in two.
My own suffers for it sufficiently, believe me.
How could you be so barbarous to me? But indeed, I forgive you. Your cruelty will cost me many a tear, but this is the last time I shall ever upbraid you.
Oh, I deserve all your reproaches.
If I had come to fortune and you had been poor Dick, I would have flown to you and cheered you in your poverty. I would have poured my gold at your feet. I would have shared all my joys with you, and told you that riches could never change my heart.
And I come now to share all mine with you, Cicely.
Oh, no, Dick. My lot is very humble, but I scorn the gold that will buy my honesty. We must never meet any more. But indeed, I do truly wish you may be prosperous, though you sought my ruin. Bless you, Dick, and if ever poor Cicely comes into your mind, think that she prays to heaven to forgive you for trying to harm her innocence, whose greatest blessing would have been to make you happy.
Going left.
Stay and hear me, I entreat you. I come to sue for pardon. I come in repentance, Cicely.
And do you repent?
I do, most earnestly.
That is some comfort to me, for your own heart will be easier, and I shall bear my hard lot better now, for I know your great friends will never let you stoop to one in my station. Ah, times are much changed with us, Dick.
However changed, they shall not now alter my purpose, Cicely. I have been dazzled, and I have wounded you. I have covered myself, too, with shame and confusion, but if they can make atonement, my fortune, my heart, and my hand are all at your service.
Your hand?
Sobbing and resting on his shoulder.
I shall be able to speak more soon. Oh, Dick.
My dear Cicely, I rose strangely to rank, and now perhaps in the eyes of the great world strangely supported. For I'm afraid, Cis, that half your young fellows of fashion would rather seem wicked than ridiculous. But I shall never, for the future, think that marrying a worthy woman whom chance has placed beneath us in life can be any disgrace, while seducing her is reckoned, among profligate fops, a matter of triumph. Dry your tears, Cicely.
These are not like the tears I shed a while ago. These are tears of joy, Dick.
Bell rings in the house, left.
Hark, I am cold.
One moment. Tell me you forgive me.
Forgive you? Oh, Dick, you have made me happy. How this will comfort my poor Ezekiel.
I shall be ashamed to meet him again, Cicely.
Oh, I will tell him all, and...
The bell rings again, left.
Hark, I am cold again.
Adieu. I will see you very, very soon. Farewell.
Goodbye, and...
One kiss, and...
Embracing her.
Goodbye.
The bell again rings, and Cicely exits hastily into the house, left.
That one kiss of lovely virtue is worth 1,000,000 times more than all the blandishments that wealth and luxury can purchase. Where the devil now is the doctor? I'm brimful of joy, and I have nobody to communicate my...
Re-enter Dr. Pangloss, left upper entrance. He crosses behind to right.
Oh, you are returned! Embrace me, doctor!
Embrace you?
Open wide thy arms in friendly congratulation and embrace, you prig of a tutor, the happiest fellow in Christendom.
He runs to and embraces the doctor.
Bless me! Why, we're in the middle of the street. Decorum, Mr. Dowlas.
Hang decorum! I'm out of my senses!
Heaven forbid!
Aside.
For it would be as clear a £900 a year out of my pocket as ever man lost in his life.
Aloud.
What's the news?
The news? Why, that I'm going to be married.
Married?
Aside.
Mercy on me, then he is mad indeed. Tribus antiquaris a caput insanabile. Horace.
Aloud.
Consider thee.
Pshaw, I have no time to... Come with me to my father's.
crosses.
I'll explain all to him and...
Only reflect on...
Reflect? Look ye, you grave mustard pot of a philosopher. You shall dance a jig down the street with me to show your sympathy in my happiness.
A doctor of laws dance a jig in the open street at noonday?
Come, foot it!
Singing,
over the hills and far away.
I wish I were far away with all my heart.
Dance, dance, or curse me, I'll cut off your 300 a year in a twinkling.
Oh, will you? Oh, then, a flourish of trumpets, Shakespeare. Over the hills and far away, over the hills and far away.
exeunt hand in hand, singing and dancing, left. End of Act 4. Act 5 of The Heir at Law by George Colman the Younger. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Act 5. Scene 1, a street. Steps to door, right upper entrance. Enter Kenrick, left.
To be sure, misfortune isn't a neat touchstone to try friendship upon. Faith, now, all my loving friends deserve a decent kicking, and, by my soul, I believe they expect it from my hands, for I no sooner said the word lend, but they all turned their backs to me. Oh, my poor Miss Caroline, what will I do, now you are aground, to keep your pretty little chin above water? If we could have kept the brave Mr. Henry Morland's chin above water now. But he's gone, and 20 humane societies couldn't bring him back. How my poor old bones ache, and sure, the biggest bone about me is in my heart, for that aches more than all the other half of my body. I'll make bold just to rest me a bit at this door. Don't be frightened, good gentleman within, for I ain't coming to borrow of you.
Sitting down on the steps of a door, right.
Faith, this step is like my dear friend's heart's, for, by St. Patrick, 'tis as cold and as hard as a hailstone.
Enter Henry Morland and Steadfast, left.
Nay, nay, be patient, Henry.
My dear friend, 'tis impossible. The blow is too great. So good, so kind a father, lost, and his death so strangely explained to me. Indeed, Steadfast, my spirit is now almost broken.
Walks about much agitated. Kenrick, aside, on the step.
I can't see their faces now, but sure, these two must be a rich man that won't lend, and a borrower, for one is trotting about in great distress, and t'other stands as cool as a cucumber.
Come, Henry. The encounter has been a strange one, 'tis true, and the shock sudden. When you entered a father's house, and prepared to leap into a father's arms, to meet that low fellow, who has caused all our mistakes, was indeed... Oh, come, let us get back to our hotel, that you may compose yourself.
Kenrick, rising from the step.
So having taken a rest, I'll go home with my bad news to console poor Miss Caroline.
Comes forward, right.
I cannot be mistaken in that face. Kenrick?
Eh? Why, sure, it can't be. Sure, my old eyes are so bad that I see what's invisible.
It is he.
Running to him.
Oh, Kenrick, my good old man. Tell me, where is my Caroline?
Kenrick, capering with joy.
Oh, faith, 'tis himself, 'tis himself, 'tis himself, safe, sound, and dry, without a wet rag about him.
But inform me, my honest Kenrick, of...
Hubba-boo, hubba-boo, hubba-boo. Oh, I'll go wild, I'll go mad. don't spake to me yet, my dear, sweet Mr. Henry. Och, good luck to the day when your honour walked ashore after you were drowned.
But tell me, Kenrick, of...
Yes, I'll tell you. Och, upon my soul, you must wait a bit. I believe I've been drowned myself, for the salt water runs out of my eyes by pailsful.
Poor fellow. An old servant of Mr. Dormer's, I perceive.
Well, now speak, Kenrick. Only tell me, is Caroline safe?
Indeed, now, and she is.
Ah, thank heaven. And in London?
Yes, in this wide, dirty town, and, big as it is, there isn't a 13 to be had for love nor money to help her out in her distress.
Her distress? But I feared it. Let me fly to her, and you are surely with her still, Kenrick?
With her? And is it yourself, Mr. Henry, that can ask Kenrick that question? Could I leave my sweet young mistress? Or would I leave any friends in their need that supported me in their prosperity? Och, the devil fly away with him that would, I say.
Honest fellow.
Pardon me, my good Kenrick. I know not what I say. Conduct me to her, and you shall explain all by the way.
Conduct you? Faith, old as I am, I'll go hopping over all the kennels home with you, as nimble as a jackdaw.
Come then, steadfast.
Exeunt right. Scene 2. An apartment in Lord Dubberly's house. Enter Lord following Lady Dubberly. Right.
But listen, my lady, to reason.
Then I mustn't listen to you, my lord.
Why, I've been almost scared out of my 7 senses. The old madman, who was here last night, rushed in with another young one with him this morning. I can't make head nor tail of what he wants for my part. But as to Dick, my lady, he'll certainly break his heart if he doesn't marry this here wench.
I wonder, my lord, you can think on such a thing. A peer's son marry a maid-servant?
I'd rabbit it, my lady. Now don't be so obstropulous. You know, when his father married you, you was but a clear starcher.
That's quite another sort of affair, and you might have more manners than to mention it now. But as to learning you elegance, we may lead the horse to the water, my lord, but there's no making him drink.
Nay, I'm sure, my lady, I didn't mean no disparagement to you, for you was counted on all hands the best getter-uppers small linen in our town.
Looking off, right.
Here's the doctor. Let's ask his advice in this here business.
Enter Dr. Pangloss, right.
Pray now, doctor, you must know we're in a bit of a quandary, doctor.
Your lordship had better be in an uncertainty.
Why, Lord love you, so I am, man. Pray, didn't you never hear o' no great man as was married to a farmer's daughter?
Walter, a Marquis of Lombardy.
There, my lady, the Marquis of Lombardy. That's the place where all the poplars come from. He's a tip-top, I'll warrant you. Mayhap you may have lit on him in your visits, my lady.
Frequently.
Pangloss, aside.
'Tis false. Row.
But you have heard nothing yet of the high tone, my lord.
High tone? Rot it! I hear nothing else but the high tone when you're in the house, my lady. And who did he marry, doctor?
A Grizzle, a perfect pattern of patience. Daughter to his tenant, Jacquelina, and this Marquise has here spoused with a ring. Just.
There, my lady, what do you think of that? Hang it, If the Marquis spoused Grizzle, Dick may marry the maid servant.
Pangloss, aside.
My pupil, zounds, my salary, tremor occupat artus, Virgil. My income totters.
And in that there case, Doctor, your 300 a year must go to the mending of my cakeology.
Yes, but I shall lose. No, nothing. A lapsus linguae.
Aside.
One annuity gone with my pupil. Then I've only clear for life 600
Doctor?
pounds a year. Swift. Madam.
Lady Doubly, apart to Pangloss.
You know, Doctor, my 300 stops the moment my son marries.
What? Stop your 3? Thrice the brinded cat has mewed. Shakespeare. Here he comes.
Enter Dick Dowlas, right.
Well, father, has my mother made up her mind?
Well, I can't tell, Dick. My lady seems betwixt and betweenish, as a body may say. But it all depends upon her verdict.
Dick takes Lady Doubly apart.
Does it?
Aside left.
Oh, Jupiter, if ever contradiction crept into the bosom of a beauteous woman, Moliere Formosa, Horace, stuff a double dose into that terrible old woman, and save the fortunes of Peter Pangloss.
Lady Doubly to Dick.
Well, but she is only a farmer's daughter, they say. And what's a farmer, my dear?
Why, an English farmer, mother, is one who supports his family and serves his country by his own industry. In this land of commerce, mother, such a character will always be respectable.
That's right, Dick. Father's own son to a hair. When I kept my shop at Gosport,
Hush, my lord.
To Dick.
Well, you were always my darling, you know, Dick, and I can't find it in my heart to give you a denial.
Can't you?
Aside.
I wish you could find it in your tongue. 600 a year blown away by the breath of that Sybil.
That's my good mother. You've made me so happy. Zounds! I shall run mad.
Pangloss, aside.
Zounds! And so shall I.
1,000 thanks, my dear mother, and my dear father, too. Wish me joy, doctor, wish me joy 100 times.
100 times. I feel, Mr. Dowlas, on this occasion, 600 times more than I know how to express.
Dick, to Lord and Lady Doubly.
And if you would but indulge me now in letting me conduct you to Sicily.
Odd rot it. My lady, let's humour Dick for once. The young ones love to be buildin' and cooin', you know.
Why, the coach, I believe, is at the door, my lord.
Is it? Spobs. Then, my lady, let's bundle. Dick, come, doctor. Now you mustn't make me ride backwards, my lady, for you know I ain't been used to a coach, and I shall certainly be qualmish if you do. Come, my lady.
Exeunt Lord and Lady Doubly, right.
Come, doctor, we lose time.
Time? Lose? I've lost as pretty a pair of snug annuities as... let me see. Take 6 from 9.
Why, doctor?
And 3 remain. Cocker!
Come, 'tis late.
Only 3.
Only 3? Why, 'tis only 12, man. But come, if you don't attend to my father better, I can tell you he'll kick you and your 300 a year to the devil.
Will he? Oh, for a horse with wings. Oh, Shakespeare. I fly, Mr. Dowlas.
Exeunt. Right. Scene 3. Caroline Dormer's lodgings. A table and chairs. A door right. Caroline and Cicely discovered.
Indeed, I truly hope you are better, madame.
I have little reason to be so, Cicely.
Oh, but I hope you have, and if the worst comes to the worst. But I am almost ashamed to tell you, madame.
Innocence like yours, my good girl, can know nothing it should fear to reveal.
Why, I needn't be much afeard either, for 'tis what a power of folks, both rich and poor, do all come to at last.
What is it, Cicely?
Wedlock, madame.
Indeed, this is unexpected after what you told me this morning.
Ah, but you know, madame, as to wedlock and all that, many things fall out between the cup and the lip, as they say.
Caroline, sighing.
'Tis too true indeed, Cicely.
And so my Dick came to our door, madame, 'tis but a little while agone, and his dear eyes were full of tears, and you know that it was a pity, madame, for his eyes are so fine and so bright, 'tis a shame anything should spoil them.
Well, Cicely?
And so we soon brought matters to bear, madame.
How, Cicely?
Why, he looked so sorry that it made my heart bleed to see him, and when I love him so dearly, it would be cruel not to marry him when he asked me. Don't you think so, madame?
May you be very, very happy, Cicely. 'Tis an ease to my mind in the midst of my misfortunes to know that you will be provided for. I was on the point of telling you, Cicely, that my reduced circumstances would not permit me to keep you with me any longer.
Oh, dear, and was you going to be so unkind to me, madame?
Unkind to you, my good girl? Oh, no! It would have touched me sensibly to have sent forth simplicity like yours unprotected, but hard necessity. I rejoice, my good Cicely, rejoice sincerely in your good fortune.
Ah, madame, I should rejoice more at my good fortune, if you would but let me do what I have been thinking on.
What is that, Cicely? Oh, impossible! Speak freely.
Why, you know, madame, Dick's a lord's son, and when I'm his wife, I may do just what I please. For rich folks' wives, I have heard say, do just what they please in London. Now, if you would be so good, when I am married, as to let me serve you for nothing.
No more, Cicely,
And when my husband gives me any money, if you would be so kind as to borrow it off me, I should be very much obliged to you indeed, madame.
Oh, you have overpowered me.
Falls on Cicely's neck.
Oh, heaven! How pure are all thy creatures endowed with reason, till worldly habits corrupt them.
Ezekiel, singing without. Right.
Tololderolo.
What is that?
'Twas brother Ezekiel's voice. Sure he can't think to make such a noise here.
Enter Ezekiel Homespun, capering and singing, right downstage.
Tololderolo, tololderolo.
Why, Ezekiel, why, you must be crazy, sure.
Zooks, and so I be, sister. Tololderolo.
Think where you are, brother. There's madame.
Rabbit it, ma'am, I do humbly crave pardon, but I in such a frustration. I had got, tololderolo, I had got £20,000.
My gracious, £20,000?
Tololderolo.
But stand still now, brother Ezekiel. Where did you get such a sight of money?
In the lottery, lass, in the lottery. Let me take a bit of breath. I do crave pardon, ma'am. Feyther's ticket. Let me take a bit of, I come up a prize of, a bit of a breath of, dear, heaven send this luck do not set my simple brain a-maddening.
Compose yourself, honest friend.
I do humbly thank ye, ma'am. I have run all the way from the lottery office and...
Well, and what will you do with all this money, Ezekiel?
What will I do with it, Sister Cicely? Why, what should a man do with his riches? I will first provide for such as I do love, and then lend a helping hand to them that be poor about me.
Dear brother, that's just the thing.
Drawing him aside.
Come here, Ezekiel. Poor Madame has fallen into great trouble.
Has she? How?
Why, all her friends are dead, it seems.
Poor soul.
And her banker stole all the money she had this very morning, and...
Don't you say any more, Sister Cicely.
Turning to Caroline.
Madam, I be main glad to hear that you be tumbled into misfortunes, ma'am.
Glad, friend?
Main glad indeed, because you have been so kind to sister, and I be able now to return you the favour.
Oh, no more of that, Ezekiel. You distress me.
With submission, ma'am, I do want to take away your distress.
Pulling out banknotes.
Here, ma'am, here be 100, and there be 500, and here be a rabbit. My hand do shake too much to stand a counting. I will spread 'em all upon the table here.
Placing the notes upon the table in a great flurry.
Take what you want, and welcome, and thank you too, ma'am.
I cannot think, friend, of...
Ezekiel and Cicely, bowing and curtsying.
Pray do,
now,
madam, pray do.
Enter Lord and Lady Doubly, right downstage.
Beg pardon, ma'am, but the landlady bid us bundle up.
Caroline, left.
Your commands with me, sir?
Why, the whole preamble of this here affair is that my lady and I... Speak to the gentlewoman, my lady.
Ah, you have a head and so has a pin.
To Caroline.
We make bold to pay our respects, madam, having a little business concerning a female of your family.
Yes, and...
To whom have I the honour of speaking, sir?
Why, you have the honour of speaking to Lord Doubly, madam.
Ezekiel, gathering up the notes hastily and coming forward.
What?
Lord Doubly?
But Dick's coming up with Dr. Pangloss hard at his heels, and they'll tell you the long and the short on it.
Ezekiel, left.
What, Dick Dowless? Then you be the old chandler that they made a lord on.
Old Chandler, indeed?
Look ye now, my lord soap and candles.
Soap and candles?
Your son had better keep clear of me, I can tell him that.
Lord and Lady Doubly and Caroline retire upstage. Enter Dick Dowless and Dr. Pangloss right downstage. Dick advancing towards Cicely.
Cicely, let me...
Ezekiel interposing.
Stand off, Mr. Dowless, stand off. To think to come here to... Odd rabbit it, my fingers do itch to be at you. Keep you behind me, Sister Cicely.
Dick, right centre.
My dear Ezekiel,
Ezekiel, left centre.
Don't you dear me. I put little trust in fair words with foul actions.
Cicely, left.
Dear now, you are so hasty, Ezekiel.
Hold your peace, Cicely. The best he that wears a head had better be hanged than venture to harm you.
Cicely, I find, has not explained. I am here, Ezekiel, to make reparation.
You have stung me to the quick. You do know you have.
I share with you in all the pain, Ezekiel, which I have so wantonly inflicted. My heart smote me, even before you left me, and very little reflection convinced me that, in the vanity of sudden fortune, I had offered you and the woman of my heart a bitter injury. I'm thoughtless, Ezekiel, but not deliberately base. And if you can once more take to your bosom a guilty but repentant friend...
Ezekiel running to him and embracing him.
Oh, Dick, Dick, my dear, my old companion. Ah, Dick, that be a stony bosom that can shut out an old friend who be truly grieved for his faults and do sue for mercy. It be more than I can do.
Dear, I am so happy.
You have made my heart many and many a pound lighter, Dick.
And my own too, Ezekiel. And to prove my sincerity, my father and mother here are come with an offer of my hand to Sicily. Father?
Lord and Lady Dudley advance, right.
Why, my lady here is a little upon the grumpy order for his calling us chandlers, but for my part, I don't value that a button. A man needn't take no affront to be told he was born low when he has got better in the world without no dishonesty. There, children, be happy together.
Why now, that's hearty. And as luck be apt to turn with us all, why I have gotten £20,000.
How?
And I warrant Sister Cicely shall have something handsome tossed in at the wedding.
Aye, all in the lottery. I'll tell you.
All retire up but Pangloss and Ezekiel. Pangloss aside, right.
£20,000.
Crossing to Ezekiel.
Sir, as you will now need a tutor to usher you into life, 300 per annum are the trifling terms of your obedient servant, Peter Pangloss, LL.D. and A.SS.
Bows. Enter Kenrick right down stage, pushing Pangloss aside.
Stand out of the way. He's coming, my dear. Miss Caroline, he's coming.
Caroline left.
Who, Kenrick?
'Tis himself. 'Tis himself. He's alive and leaping up the stairs like a young salmon out of the water.
Who do you mean?
My dear young lost master. 'Tis Mr. Henry himself, madam.
My Henry! Oh, support me!
Enter Henry Morland right down stage. Morland running to Caroline.
My Caroline! Oh, let me clasp you to my heart and shelter you there forever.
Doubly right.
Why, zounds! That's the young suckling madman has scared me out of my senses with the old one this morning.
Oh, Henry, do we once more meet? And after such... By what miracle have you escaped?
Kenrick, centre.
Be satisfied, ma'am, for he's too much bothered now to talk. But you see, he's here, and that's enough. The true long-lost Mr. Henry Morland.
Eh? What? Henry Morland? Why, zounds! The late Lord Dudley's lost heir?
Son and heir to that revered and respectable man, be assured, sir. You have done me the favour to be my locum tenens in my absence, and I am now returned to relieve you from further trouble.
Why, what the devil? Have I only been a kind of Piers warming pan after all? Just popped in to keep his place from getting cold till he jumped into it?
Nothing more, believe me. I have witnesses sufficient, should it be necessary, to identify my person in a minute.
I'd rabbit it. Then old Daniel Dowlas is no longer a lord.
Nor Deborah Dowlas a lady.
Nor Dick Dowlas an honourable.
Nor Peter Pangloss a tutor. Now, thank heaven.
Thank heaven? For what?
That I am not worth a ducat. Otway.
Then it do seem at last, Dick, that I be the rich man and you be the poor. Odd rabbit it. I be glad on it, for I can now please myself with serving my friends.
Who is this, Caroline?
An honest creature, Henry, brother to this simple girl. Their affection to me in my distress has been most piercing.
Then it shall not go unrewarded, my Caroline.
With humble submission, sir, kindness to a fellow creature in distress do reward itself. Thanks to the lottery we be rich enow. But as Dick doubtless be to marry sister Cicely, if you would just lend me a helping hand for his father and mother here.
Oh, rest contented, honest friend. I shall not dispossess them without making a proper provision.
My lord.
They advance.
If a boy should bless your nuptials, which I conjecture are about to take place, he will, doubtless, need a tutor. £300 per annum are the terms of your lordship's obsequious servant, Peter Pangloss, LL.D. and A.SS.
You are not one of those, it seems, sir, who lose an appointment for want of an early application.
The human mind, my lord, naturally looks forward. Animus previdit futura. Cicero.
If I should need such a person, sir, depend upon it, I shall be very particular in my choice, for I suspect there are some among those to whom youth is entrusted, who bring the character of tutor into disrepute, and draw ridicule upon a respectable situation in which many men of learning and probity are placed.
Rejoins the others upstage. Pangloss aside.
This man will never do for me. Again must I retire to Milk Alley and spin my brains for a subsistence. Pangloss's occupation's gone. Shakespeare.
Characters advance. Wright, Morland, Caroline, Doubly, Lady Doubly, Dick, Cicely, Zekiel, Kenrick, Pangloss, left.
In calmer moments, my Caroline, I will explain the circumstances of my preservation, and when I have paid the mournful tribute due to a much lamented father, let me call you mine, and place you above the reach of future sorrow.
Little sorrow can reach me when you are safe, Henry.
And we'll get into the country, take a bit of a farm, and all be as merry as grigs, Dick.
Agreed, Zekiel. Come, Cicely. I have seen enough already of splendor to seek for happiness in quieter scenes, and I have learned, Zekiel, that in spite of all the allurements which riches and titles may boast, the most solid and valuable possession is a true friend.
Epilogue, spoken by the characters, each person advancing a little while speaking.
Custom exacts, and who denies her sway? An epilogue to every 5-act play.
You speak it, then, and do not mouth it. Come. But be not too tame, neither. Shakespeare.
Odd rabbited, best let these logs alone.
Epi.
Well, epilogues.
They're all on the tone.
What be the epilogue you be talking on?
Eteris and os. Vide lexicon.
I'll tell you, honey. Epilogues, they say, are what are always spoke before the play, by some good-looking gentleman, well dressed.
Oh, then I am sure my Dick will speak it best.
To win the town the epilogue intends, and the play over, please our best of friends.
Please our best friends? Aye, that be right. I spy a power here we fain would please. Who'll try?
I.
I.
and I.
Och, faith, we're of one mind. Had we been 20, 'tis carried.
Nimene dissentiante.
Thus to begin, then. If here some thoughtless youngster may be found in fashion's giddy vortex whirling round, may he tonight, from Dick's example, see that honor's real pomp is honesty. May reformation's pledge his cheek o'ercast, the self-accusing blush for errors past.
If there's a lass in love here, yes, I've spied her.
Ezekiel goes to her side, saying, "Where?"
Sitting quite snug with that young man beside her.
Pointing to the pit.
Let her, like Sicily, to this maxim cling. Love slides all gold except a wedding ring.
Pray, is there ne'er a chandler here? Because old Daniel Dowless asks his applause.
Hush, hold your tongue.
Well, zounds,
'Twill never stop.
I'm only begging custom for the shop.
While filial duty animates our youth, while virtuous passion warms the breast of truth, with qualities like these to Britons dear, Henry may surely hope for favour here.
And may not Caroline applause secure, who to all these adds feeling for the poor?
Och, bother, you have so many virtues here. There won't be any left for me, I fear. Burn him who leaves, I can't say more or less, a patron, friend, or female in distress.
Flesh, give your fist. That's hearty now and fair. You be of Ezekiel's kidney to a hair.
On my virtues I shall lay no stress. I'm an LL.D. and an A.S.S. If anybody wants a tutor here, my terms are just £300 a year. On their own merits modest men are dumb. Plaudite et valete, Terence.
Curtain. End of Act 5. End of The Heir at Law by George Colman the Younger.